Check, check. All right, I think we are live. If somebody watching can let me know in Discord that it looks good. But we should be good to go. All right, nobody's saying anything, so I'll just go ahead and get started. Anaz is here. Can you hear me, Anaz? I just set up a new scene so I can show you guys the desktop and show you all the little things I'm doing. So just wondering if I have it set up correctly. All right, so this is the scanner that I have. It's the Freedom HD. It's a dental scanner. And there is a rebranded jewelry version of this. But there's a pretty good markup. Basically, all the jewelry scanners are rebranded dental scanners. And they all come out of South Korea for some reason. So I just went with the straight dental version because I got the trade show price. I think it was $15,000 2 years ago. And really the main difference is the fixtures that you get. So I got all these dental fixtures and I don't need any of them. So I had to make my own. But the other difference is the swing on the arm. So I like this one because the platform is stable and the camera moves. So with like the Elux, the arm moves and rotates. And if you don't have your piece fixed really well, it could shift slightly, which they have good fixtures. It's not a problem. But this is more stable for doing stones, which it's hard to affix a stone and then have the stone swing back and forth on an arm and rotate on an arm without some jiggle to it. So the base actually swivels. Maybe it'll spin in this video. I guess yeah. So the base spins slowly and the arm is articulated. Now, one of the things that the jewelry scanners have is this arm articulates 90 degrees, and a jewelry scanner will generally do like maybe 200 degrees, 220, which helps you get the undercuts. But I wasn't really worried about that because, yes, it will get more vision on an undercut, but it won't get the inside of a ring. So you almost always, if you're trying to get the inside and outside of a piece, you'll have to do multiple scans, at least 2, if not 3 scans to get all the interior cavities on a thing. But for just the exterior surface, 90 degrees is fine. So I wasn't really worried about that too much, you know, in the difference between the jewelry and dental version. But I like this one because it's a 2 megapixel camera and it's all open. The scanning software is not open, but the standards that they use are open. So I just take an STL out of this. I don't have to deal with any other proprietary formats for the scan. 2 megapixel, which is, you know, some of the $40,000-$50,000 jewelry scanners are the 2 megapixel cameras. Another difference is that a jewelry scanner will generally have a closer focal plane. So their 5 megapixel might be closer in to the subject, so you effectively get better resolution. But at the same time, I kind of like having the ability to do larger pieces. So I can do a bangle, or I can do, I've done 7 stones at the same time with this, and I'll show you my fixtures in a minute. But anyways, this is the scanner, and I found it by going on the dental forums and looking at the scanners they use, and the nightmare stories of, you know, some of the more proprietary scanners where they just say, we're not doing software for this anymore. You can't update a license. You got to buy the new one. And you're basically getting the scanner for free with the software package. So when you have to upgrade the software package to a new version, you also have to upgrade the scanner. And that old scanner is, you know, just dead. There's nothing you can do with it. And DOF doesn't do that kind of stuff. They've got a pretty good track record of being consumer friendly to the dentists that have them, with comparable, if not better, resolution. And they do have a 5 megapixel version, but I think it's in the $25,000 range, maybe 30. And that's the Freedom UHD. And then the 1.3 megapixel version is the Freedom S. And then they've got a couple of different, the arm swings. I didn't want an arm that swung, because I primarily was thinking about stones and how to affix them, and just, you know, tipping a stone upside down and having it not shift is not something I wanted to deal with. So let me show you the stuff that I use. So first, I used a lot of different sprays, and Joe JEB Jewelry recommended this one to me, and as soon as I tried it, I have not switched to anything else. This is the Maxidon CAD-CAM spray. It's about $45 a bottle, and it lasts for a good little while, and it gives you a very nice matte finish. See if I can get the camera to focus here. It gives you a nice matte finish on the piece. It's pretty easy to do. This is a Stuller earring holder that I took and cut off. And I basically just put a ring in there, clamp it down. It almost had the focus. Come on. Well, this is just a crappy little webcam. Sorry, guys. But you can tell what it is. It's a, you know, this is a Stuller. I just cut through the aluminum body, cut through the post. I put it in here, tighten it up, and then tighten up the bottom and get it in place. And then this is the dental. You put teeth in each one of these things. This is blue tack, sticky tack, and I'll just take a piece and put in the hole, and then just take and smush this down in there. Like so, and it's fixed. And then this is how I would do a stone. So this is Guess Wine positioning wax. I use this a lot for photography. It's 8170768. It's just a block of positioning wax. It's great for photography. But I just put a ball of that on the end of a wooden dowel. When I do a bunch of stones at the same time, I just got a tray of wooden dowels that I sharpen to a point. Come on, just wants focus. So just put a ball of sticky wax on the end. You can use a hot glue gun, whatever you want. And then just put the stone on there and hit it with the Maxidon CAD spray. And I just do the same thing of, that's already got a hole, so I'll just do this one so it's a little. There. Get it in there. And then with stones, I'll just load this whole thing up. If I've got a bunch of stones to do that have fat girdles or weird shapes or whatever, I just get a bunch of them together and do them all at the same time. And then you guys know what this is. This, I'll just take the laser and tack on a ring if I don't care about, you know. I'll use this brass jaw anytime I think the story on this is the manufacturer that made this particular matching band is no longer with us, and they want another one, so I'm going to scan it and make it. So I don't want to ruin the surface finish on the bottom of the ring. I'm going to hand this back to a customer in a minute, so I don't want to leave any marks. So brass jaws is really good for that. But this gives you a tighter hold, just to laser tack on the end of it. And then I've also got this one, which there's probably no chance of you seeing. So I drilled a hole in this, and what I do is I take a piece of fishing line, make a little fishing knot, slip it through that hole, pull it tight, and then this has got I cut a slit in this end. Cut the slit in this end, pull it tight, put it in that slit, and then just slide it in the chuck. And I'll just put that in some blue tack to hold a piece. So let's go over to the software. I'm going to load this into the scanner. Okay, switch scenes here to okay, so this is the scanning software, and like it's made for dental. So you can go in here and define what these options do. So this base one, base angles. You define the angles for the strategy, and I've basically just come up with one that does everything. So the first number is, I believe, the first number is the arm, so that's the angle. And I need to hit auto brightness on this. Okay, so the first number is the angle, and you have 90 degrees on it. So mine starts at -6 and goes up to 84, I guess. Oh, you get a little bit more than 90. Nope, 87. So for whatever reason, mine does that, but I get 90 degrees on the arm. And then the second number is your base rotation. So it will spin around. And you can see with having the extra field of view, like even though I'm scanning this stone, I'm not taking anything away from the ring. So that's why I can do, 7 pieces at the same time, and I just make my center one a little bit taller than everything else. But that is, I just went into Excel and just kind of do all 6 on the arm, and then 12, 84, 156, 300, and then 24. So these are all offset in 12s. So 12, 24, 36, 36, 48, 60, 72. So each time I raise the arm elevation, I'm taking a very 12 degree offset on the plate rotation. I just figured this out when I was first playing with it, and it works pretty good. I don't really go above 64 because once you get a top view of something, you pretty much have a top view of it. And if I ever need an extra angle, I can take an extra angle, but we're just going to say use my little base strategy here. And so this is scan once or do all the steps. So I'm just going to hit that button and then wait. Slide this over. And as it comes up here, and I didn't coat my little earring holder with the so some of it's not going to show up because it's a reflective surface. Any reflective surface is not going to scan, only matte surfaces. That's why you need that Maxidon spray. So we're just going to let it go around. Somebody there? In the stream, there's a problem with voice. Is it too loud or is it cutting in and out? Let me turn this on so I can hear myself. Hello? Oh, okay. I think the scanner. Did it just start when the scanner started? Okay. Okay. I understand what's going on. I'll try not to talk for a minute. You guys can see on that 64-degree angle, you're getting a pretty good top view here. All this little fluff that's showing up is because this is a reflective surface. If I would have fully sprayed down this knurled surface and the base surface, I wouldn't have these reflections causing these little scatter points to show up randomly out of nowhere. But it's not a problem in the long run, so I don't worry about it too much. Because you're going to have to cut off your supports, which I'm going to do that now. So I'm going to rotate this, and I'm just going to draw a line. Oh, I can't do that because I got two models in here at the same time. Cancel that. We're going to do it like this. I'm going to delete everything on the outside, and then I'm going to look at it. I've got some crud in here, trim the inside, and then I'm going to get in on this and try and get level with the table. Nope. Trim inside. And if I was cared, I would take and do that. You can see a little bit of where the spray left a cruddy edge there. It is a spray. It's not perfect. I was talking to somebody yesterday. Let me give him a plug because he's a really cool dude. And he actually, he does a little bit more detailed work than this is totally not needed for here. But he actually takes and uses a paint gun, airbrush paint gun, and paints them with a matte paint, which will let you get this Maxidon spray is like very small granules of powder in a hydrocarbon that evaporates quickly. If I touch the side of that ring, the powder just comes off on my finger. They're particles. He uses an airbrush with a matte paint and just lightly applies a coat of paint that gives it a matte finish, which, you know, once it dries, it reveals the detail a lot better, where you don't have, you know, kind of overspray ending up on an edge like I have here. But it's not a problem for what we're doing on most things. Trim inside. And that's all I need because I'm just making a match to this, so I don't need any more detail. Done with that. Done with that. Now, the next thing is there is a kind of a smooth all in 3D Coat. So each time it took a pass and did a scan, you might get a little bit of a reflection where one of these points is a little off from neighboring points. And what this does, it will take, and where it sees a little bit of a surface anomaly, it'll just smooth it out. And you can specify, you know, how much to smooth. I don't have it very aggressive where it'll keep like this, but any like tiny points, it shifts them by a very, very small amount. And then after I do that, if I was doing a multi-scan, I would use this match. I only have one scan here, so I don't have match. The match works pretty good on its own, but if I wanted to take an undershot of this, then I would lay the part down on its side and I'd end up with two scans. I'd have the ring twice in here, once laying down and once standing up. This button does a global match. It'll automatically figure out the alignment, but if it gets something wrong, you know, if you have quad symmetry on a ring, excuse me, if you have quad symmetry on a ring, it may not be able to pick up exactly. So I would zoom in on, you know, a prong and see, okay, there's a little flat spot here on this prong that's not on any of the others. I'd use and just point to a 3-point match, and then do the same 3-point match on the other, and it mates up perfectly. So if it's a little bit confused, you can tell it what to key off on, and then it will give you a perfect alignment. Next, we would go into build, but I think there's a way to split. Yeah, you can extract. So I can extract this. And now I have two scans. So I have scan 1 and scan 2, and that's generally what I do with, I just put this stone on here. I don't need it. I was just showing you how it works. So I'm going to cut this out of, cut that out. But if I was doing two things at the same time, I would extract them each into their own layer and then work with them from there. Let's go here, and last thing to do is to turn it into a mesh, which you've got a lot of options here. And this is the one part that I wish there was more information about. I have asked, but I was not very persistent on getting more information on what each of these should be set at. But I feel like this is a pretty good default for most things. And I can zoom in here and see, you know, how close the scan is to the mesh. So that just pegged my computer doing that analysis. So I didn't talk. I hopefully didn't talk where the mic was getting all choppy. But that's the surface, and if I tell it okay, I can come back and look at the scan. Not that one. This one. Oh, they're not in the same place. That's weird. They're usually in the same place, and I can overlay them and make sure that, you know, all the detail is there, which it is. I've never had a case where it wasn't. So I guess this latest version, the mesh just gets put in a weird spot. Not sure why that is, but that's it. Once I get the mesh, I export to STL, which I don't want to show file names on the stream. So 1 second. Okay, so I save that out to an STL file. And I'm going to make this all shaded mode and isolate it. And here it is in Rhino, where I'm pretty much on my own at this point. As far as, getting this turned to 0, which is never fun. And there are some scanning tools, plugins for Rhino, but I have not heard great things about any of them, and they're expensive, and it hasn't been, worth me trying to learn any of them, or I don't think the cost is worth, trying to pick one of them up and spend time learning it when I can get a pretty good job doing like this. I usually draw a couple of reference lines, like there's this here, and I'll mirror that over to the other side and drag that in front of the camera. And I usually put this on a darker layer so I can see my lines better. But, I'll take and rotate this. So rotate off of 0 just a little bit. And that looks like there's the same amount of spacing on both sides. And then on the left, I'll exaggerate it and say rotate from this point and draw a line right down the center of it. And then snap lock it to 90. And then on the top, we'll do the same thing. We'll exaggerate it. And then rotate, put a line dead down the middle, and then snap lock it to 90, and then check our front alignment because we've gone a little bit off center. So we're going to rotate off of 0. A little too far. No, we are way off on that. Let me use a multi-view here. Is my shading mode? Oh, I'm looking at the inside versus the outside. Flip this around 180. Yeah, this is the thing I hate about scanning, is just getting it lined up. And part of that is that you'll never get a ring back in where this is completely a straight shank. Once it leaves and enters the world and gets banged up, a lot of times these will get twisted. So you just do the best you can. You get it close enough and don't drive yourself crazy trying to get a perfect alignment. But that's pretty much it. I got to get to work because it's Christmas and I got a lot of stuff to do. But I said I would show you guys the scanning. So hope you guys enjoyed it. And there is a link to the scanner and the Discord in the video description. And I guess I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.